Welcome to video 4.2. Today we're going to talk about the distributive property. We're going to use the distributive property to simplify each of the expressions below. So let's start with number 1. So to start off, I need you to write the x plus 5 in the parentheses. So what this means is we need to multiply the 6 that's on the outside times the x, and we need to multiply this 6 on the outside by the 5. So one way that this could look is we could draw in arrows to show, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the 6 times the x, and I'm going to multiply the 6 times the 5. But I feel that that gets a little sloppy, and sometimes it's hard to remember what we're actually multiplying, especially if there's more than 2 terms in the parentheses. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use a box. So in order to do this, we're going to make a box like we would use to represent area, where we multiplied like a length times a width. And we're going to use that to represent that we're multiplying a 6, which is just one term, times x plus 5, which is 2 terms. So because this is 2 terms, I have 2 boxes along the top. And because there's only one term on the side, I only have a 1 box, a 1 side over here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill in the area. So to find the area of this room, if you can think of it like that, is we're going to multiply the length and the width. So we're going to multiply the 6 times the x, because those are the 2 sides of this little cell that we're going to fill in. So 6 times x is 6x. And then we're going to multiply the other room. So this, the side length, well really it's the same as this right here. It's a 6. 6 and the top is 5. So 6 times 5 gives me 30. Because it's a positive 30, I like to put the plus 30 in here. You do not have to put the plus, but I like to put the plus because then I remember, oh yeah, I'm going to put an addition between these two. So once you find the area of the 2 rooms, it's like if I said, hey, find the area of this whole big room. If I add this room plus this room, I'll find the entire area. So that's what we're doing here. We're multiplying and then we're adding the 2 together. So the 6x plus the 30 is what we have. They're not like terms. We can't put them together. So that's my answer. 6x plus 30. Okay, let's do another one. For number 2 here, I want you to fill in the parentheses with x plus 3y. So what we're doing again is we're multiplying 7, but we're multiplying the 7 times the x and the 7 times the 3y. So again, to show this, we're going to use that area model. So to fill in the area of the cell, what we're doing is we're multiplying. So the side here is 7, the top is x. 7 times x is 7x. And then the next one is also a 7 on the side. 7 times the 3y. So 7 times 3 is 21. And then we still have the y, no other y's. So 21y. And I like to put in the plus 21y. So then what we're doing is we're going to add them together. Now there are no like terms, so we're just going to write them as addition between them, adding the 2 terms together. So my answer is 7x plus 21y. For number 3, we're going to fill the parentheses in with x plus 3y. So again, we're multiplying this 88 times the x, and we're multiplying the 88 times the 3y. So to do this, I need to bring up another area model, and we're going to multiply the 2 terms together. 88 is 1 term by itself, so that's going to go on the side. And the x plus 3y is 2 terms, that's going to go on the top, the way I wrote my box here. Multiplying to fill in each cell. This one is 88 times x. 88 times x is 88x. And remember, that's because we can't really multiply them together. I don't know what x is. So writing a term, a number, the coefficient, the 88 here, times the x, just side by side, means multiply. Now for this next one, we need to multiply 88, which is the side, times the 3y. So 88 times the 3y is positive 264y. And again, I like to put in the plus sign here so that I remember I'm adding these two together. I look at 88x and a 264y. They have different variables, even though they have the same exponent of technically a 1 here. I cannot put them together because an x and a y cannot be combined. So my answer is 88x plus 264y. In the parentheses for number 4, I want you to fill it in with 9 plus 7x. So what does this mean? We're multiplying a negative 5 times the 9 and a negative 5 times the 7x. So to do so, I'm going to bring up another area model. So in my monomial, the one term, negative 5 times the 9 plus 7x looks like this, 1 by 2. Fill in each of the cells. So for this first one, negative 5 times 9 gives me negative 45. And a negative 5 times the 7x gives me negative 35x. Now I am going to put them together. So I could just write them side by side. But there's another thing that is kind of important in math. We tend to write things in what is called standard form. For our purposes, what that means right now is that we want to write the variable term first. So instead of bringing the negative 45 first, I'm going to write the negative 35x first. Now notice I was careful to keep the sign with it. It was a negative 35x, so I had to bring that negative in front. And then I have the minus 45. Now, had you written it as the negative 45 minus 35x, it is mathematically equivalent, but I'm just going to ask that you rewrite it underneath in that what I called standard form, having the x variable before the constant or the number by itself. Okay, for number 5, I want you to fill in the parentheses with the 3x minus 10. So what we're doing is we're multiplying the negative 5 times the 3x minus 10. So again, I'm going to set up my area model to show that I'm multiplying this negative 5 times both terms here. So on the side, I'm going to put the negative 5, and on the top, I'm going to put the 3x and then the minus 10. So notice when I wrote it as the two terms, I wrote the 3x and then the negative 10, since that's kind of what this is representing. Minus 10 is like a negative 10. So then to fill in the cells, I'm going to multiply. So negative 5 times 3x. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. And then I have the x, so that goes next to the negative 15. On the side here, remember this is negative 5, so we're looking at a negative 5 times a negative 10. Negative 5 times negative 10 is 50. And again, I like to put the sign there so that I know that I'm adding. Then, to find the total, we're going to add the 2 up. Negative 15x plus 50. And again, because they are not like terms, I cannot put them together. So that is my answer, negative 15x plus 50. Okay, number 6 here, we're going to multiply a negative 4, and in the parentheses, I want you to fill in 9 plus 5y. So again, we're multiplying this one-term monomial, negative 4, times the 9 plus 5y. So to do so, I'm going to bring over an area model. I'm multiplying more than 1 times 1. So we're multiplying the negative 4, the one term, on the side, times the 9 plus 5y, which is going to go on the top. Okay, so to fill them in, we're going to multiply negative 4, which is the side here, times the 9, which is the top. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. For the next cell, we're multiplying a negative 4 times the 5y. Negative 4 times positive 5 is negative 20. And then we just have the 1y, so it's going to come next to the negative 20. So we write that as the negative 20y. Now I have my two terms that need to be put together. Because I like to keep it, again, just in that standard form, I'm not even going to write the 2 like they are right now because I can see that this does not have a variable and this one does. So I'm going to rearrange it. I'm going to write the negative 20y first and then the minus 36. So that my answer is negative 20y minus 36. Okay, on to number 7. So in the parentheses, I want you to fill in m plus 4. So we're multiplying negative 3 times the m plus 4. So I'm going to bring over my area model, and I'm going to fill in the negative 3 on the side and the m plus 4 on the top. And then we're going to multiply to fill in the boxes. So we have the negative 3 times m gives me negative 3m. And then we have negative 3 times 4 to give me a negative 12. Now we're going to add them up. They're not like terms, negative 3m and a negative 12. So I'm just going to write it in that standard form. So my answer is negative 3m minus 12. All right, great so far. On to number 8. We've done a lot of math so far. If you're listening and you're still sticking with me, I'd like you to put a heart around the number 8. So you're going to put a heart around the number 8. It can go over the box, nice and big. And we'll look for that when we check tomorrow. Okay, so number 8, we're going to fill in the parentheses with a y plus 7. So again, we're looking at multiplying one term by two terms. So we're going to bring over our area model, and we're going to write 5 on the side, and then the y plus 7 on the top. So to fill in the box, we're going to multiply the 5 times the y to fill in this first cell and give us a 5y. And again, that's just because to show multiplication, we write the two numbers, the number and the variable right next to each other, giving us a 5y. Then the 5 times the 7 gives me 35. Again, I'm going to put the plus with it. And I do that as a reminder that I need to add. So now we're going to put the two terms together to find the total area, 5y plus the 35. And I get my answer, 5y plus 35. All right, on to number 9. In the parentheses, I want you to fill in a negative x minus 6. So in order to multiply, we're going to multiply and fill in an area model. So I'm going to bring my area model over again. On the side, I'm going to put my negative 2, because remember, we're multiplying this negative 2 times both the terms in the parentheses, the negative x and the negative 6. So to do so, I'm going to put the negative 2 on the side, and then I'm going to put the negative x minus 6 on the top. And then we're going to multiply. So a negative 2 times a negative x, well, a negative 2 times, technically, we could put a 1 with this x if we wanted. So that's like saying I'm multiplying a negative 2 times a negative 1. Negative 2 times a negative 1 is actually going to give me a positive 2. And then again, I have the x there. And then for my other box, I'm going to multiply a negative 2 times a negative 6. Negative 2 times negative 6 gives me positive 12. Now that I've multiplied, I can go ahead and add my two terms together. So we're going to have the 2x plus 12. We're going to write them side by side. So that is my answer of 2x plus 12. So hopefully from this video you learned the importance of making sure that we use that area model, because it helps us to keep track of what we're multiplying and helps us to avoid missing a multiplication within the problem. So you're going to want to make sure that whenever you have more than one thing being multiplied, you're going to want to use the area model. So use this as a reference for you, and hopefully that helps. We will see you tomorrow.